Hello, thank you for joining me today for Real Estate, Religion, and Youth. My name is Dr. Sylvia Black, licensed real estate broker with affordable homes and apartments right here in Buffalo, New York. I'm licensed to preach and I'm ordained as a minister. I have my master's degree in sacred theological divinity. And I want to thank you for joining me today for Real Estate, Religion, and Youth, which airs every Wednesday right here on Time Warner Public Access TV Channel 20, Wednesdays 6:30 to 7 p.m. and every Saturday from 12:30 to 1 in the afternoon. And you can also hit me up on YouTube, on my YouTube address. These videos are also posted on my YouTube address. My channel is sblack3001. You can also visit and watch the videos on my Facebook page, Dr. Sylvia Black. You can also watch some of the videos on my Black Preaching Network page. I'll be on Black Preaching Network on that website. Also at a website near you, which I will be informing you of when that will be. And I want to thank you again for joining me today. Today I'd like to talk to you on a continued basis of my book, Blood-Sucking Banks. And it's here. This is the book. This is what it looks like in the flesh. Blood-Sucking Banks. And I'll also be bringing to you soon, I'll be talking a little bit about identity theft. So if you get a copy of this book, Blood-Sucking Banks, I'll throw this in and we can talk about the details in terms of how you can get it. Now I can also download the book, either one, all of them, any of the books that you like that I've written. I can download them to your phone. I can download them to your tablet. I can download them just simply via email. And once I download them to any one of the mediums, you can actually download it to whatever source you desire. You can download it to your from your web, your computer, or your phone, or your tablet. Okay, and this is called Blood-Sucking Banks, and I want to continue today. Today's topic we're going to be talking about is how do banks manipulate your money? How do banks manipulate our money? Okay. And we're going to talk a little bit about posting in the beginning. Okay, posting is a process of recording against your account transactions received for credit to or payment from your account. This is different from temporary holds that may be placed on your account for certain pending transactions that have not yet been submitted for actual payment. Okay, for example, as soon as we are made aware that a transaction, or I should say, as soon as the bank is made aware, the blood-sucking bank, I should say. As soon as the blood-sucking bank is made aware of that a transaction may be made to your account, they may place a hold on your account or place a temporary credit on your account in the case of a deposit. Now, as a result, you may see a temporary hold or credit on your account that has not yet been posted. These pending debits and credits or credits may be actually posted to your account on that business day or on a future date, depending on the nature of the transaction. Now, what you need to know about posting order is that an order in which transactions are posted or paid from your account is important. If there is not enough money in your account to pay all of your transactions that are received for payment, the order can affect the number of transactions that overdraw your account or that are returned unpaid and the amount of fees that you may have to pay. To help you manage your account, I am providing you with information describing how blood-sucking banks process your transactions. Okay, and not all of them process it this way. As I said before, every bank is different. Not all banks, do the same thing. As I said to you before, this particular bank that I worked for, they are the hardest in terms of, they manipulate your money to the maximum that they can manipulate it within the realm of the law. And I do believe even in some transactions they may be processing it outside of the law or right there on a thin line. because they're very hard on your money, and it affects mostly low to moderate income individuals and families. People on a fixed income, people who make a regular salary, who don't make a lot of money, an hourly wage. Businesses have no problems. People with high income individuals and families have no problems. But low to moderate income individuals and families have the biggest problems because they are sucking our money dry. Now, transactions can be posted to your account in two different ways, in real time or in batch time, at the end of the day. Okay, posting in real-time transactions such as transfers between accounts at certain banks and payments to certain bank loans made through certain banks, for example, web banking, or through a telephone banking service or mobile banking, if you would say, and certain reversal transactions, for example, certain reversals of a prior credit or debit posted to your account are posted to your account in real time during the business day as they are made. Now, other transactions are posted to your account in batch process at the end of each business day. The order used for posting these transactions in batch each night is described below. The batch posting transactions. The batch posting of transactions to your account by posting credits to your account other than interest, which is credited at the end of batch, and reversals and adjustments for transactions from prior business days that have not already posted in real time. Next, debit items, received for payment from your account on a given business day are posted in a particular order. They are posted in a particular order. These debits are posted in a particular order within groups based on the type of debit item. Within each group, a unique methodology, based on the type of debit item is used. Now for instance, debit card transactions will post based on when records indicate the transaction was made. But checks will post on the check number if available. When they do not have a record of when a transaction happened, or they do not have a check serial number, they post debit items by dollar amount in an ascending order. This is lowest dollar amount items first within the group noted for that type of debit item. In other words, all checks will go in the same category. All debit card transactions will go in the same category. Now the following chart, I didn't include the chart. Now, how do banks manipulate our money? First, banks do not process each individual transaction, deposit and withdrawal, as it happens. As transactions come to the bank during the day, they are collected and held until the evening. At some time during the day, they are collected and held until the evening. At some time during the night, usually over the course of several hours, all of the transactions simultaneously are processed in batches. Batches are groups of transactions that are big enough to be efficient, but small enough not to overwhelm the computer system. I used to think that that the money, when it goes into the ATM, that it would go straight into my account. because the numbers reflected the transaction. If it was a deposit, the number on my receipt would reflect the amount of credit that I had. But if it was a withdrawal, the number of my debit would reflect on my account. So I had automatically thought that the money, when I put it into, this automatic teller, that it was automatically, supposed to go into the account. It's supposed to be there right then and there. So if I put $100 through the ATM machine, which I don't do, and then I go into the bank the next day or even that evening, I would expect for my $100 to be there. Because first of all, I feel like this. The bank has my money, the bank has your money, the bank has his money, the bank has her money, and the bank has their money, the bank has your money. Okay? So the bank has a lot of people's money in the bank. And this is why they used to offer interest rates back in the day. They don't offer that anymore. They don't need to, because they're killing us with overdraft fees. Okay? They don't have to have an incentive anymore for enticing us to say, okay, come do business with our bank. We're going to give you 5% interest on your money. Come do business with us. Do business with us. We can offer you this. We can offer you that. Banks don't offer anything anymore. Instead, they now take from you. They take and they take and they take. And they're going to bleed the city dry if we keep allowing them to do that. Okay? But I used to think that, when my money, because first of all, if you have my money, your money, his money, her money, their money, everybody's money, and I deposit some money or I withdraw some money, you don't have to have my money specifically to be posted to the account. You know that's a cash deposit. So when I deposit that money in the bank, all the other money that you have, you just use that money to credit it towards my account. Okay, and plus the bank has its own money. The bank uses our money to loan money. You see what I'm saying? It's such an intricate, facet of business. And you have to think about it from a business perspective as well as from an individual customer perspective. But like I said, if I was, the kind of business that I'm in, I sell houses, I rent apartments, I rent rooms. When I deliver a service to my customer's happy. I deliver a service to you, you get exactly what it is that you pay for. There may be a few things in there that you don't like, but when at the end of the day, you have what you paid for. Okay? It's not like I'm taking something from you and leaving you with nothing. That's why I like my business, real estate business. The mortgage business works hand in hand with that. The insurance business works hand in hand with that. That's why, as I told you before, that's what I'm studying now so that my business, so that when I go in full time, that we can have all three of these assets of banking or of business, so that we can deal with customers, in three different areas of the market. Okay? The banking industry, however, when they come to you and they take your money, they manipulate your money. They manipulate it to the point whereas they are going to come out ahead of the game. And how are they going to come out ahead of the game? First of all, they got your name, date of birth, social security number. They got your personal. The only thing they don't know is what you have for breakfast that morning. And they might have a satellite that be able to figure that out too. Okay? But the bottom line is that when they finish, when it's said and done, you put your money in that bank and whatnot, and they charge you a fee. When they charge you a fee, that's it. I'm charging you a fee. You owe me that money because I said so. This is the bank's attitude. This is the blood-sucking bank's attitude that they have. Because they are in control. Unless we put them out of control. And how do we put them out of control? By being more alert on our accounts, by being more, you just have to stay more alert. You have to be able to monitor your account. And you need to do it on a daily basis. Choose the bank that you want to bank with. Don't just bank with anybody. You say, hey, I don't like the way this man banks. I'm taking my money out of there and I'm going to put it over here and I'm going to try him. Why not? You have that option. That is one of the options that we have. That is what happened with me when I had that truck. I had bought a truck and whatnot, and I realized that it was too much for me to handle because the job that I had didn't pay what I thought it was going to pay, so therefore I wasn't able to afford the truck. Now I said, now I can stick with the truck, okay, and I was going to if the truck was performing properly. But when I took a trip to New York and I came back, the truck all of a sudden started causing me problems. Now I'm paying you a monthly, every 2 weeks I'm paying you a note plus I got to pay high insurance. Okay, in addition to that, you want me to pay for the repairs, or you want me to leave my truck with you so that you can fix the repairs. And while my truck is with you, now I still have to continue to pay the note, and I have to find other means of transportation. So I said, no way. I said, I'm going to be out. If I had to do it that way, I'm going to be the loser. So I said, but I do have the option. I can give him back the truck. Okay, and I asked them for as much help as I could. I asked them to give me another truck. I asked them to replace the other truck. They wanted me to refinance the whole thing all over again. And then they told me I had to give them about $4,000 or $5,000 in order to be able to get another truck. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. If I had $4,000, I could just do what I said I was going to do. Give you the truck, find another means of transportation, and continue to pay you. And I thought that that was the limit. So I said, no way. So I gave him back the truck. So that was an option that I had available to me. And we always have options available. Okay? Now, yes, banks manipulate our money. Okay? First, banks do not process each individual transaction or deposit or withdrawal as it happens. As transactions come to the bank during the day, they are collected and held until that evening, as I said earlier. At some time during the night, usually over the course of several hours, all the transactions are processed simultaneously in batches. Batches are groups of transactions that are big enough to be efficient, but small enough not to overwhelm the computer system. Okay, banks do their processing overnight because it is when their computer resources are not being actively used by their employees. The hours that each bank processes are a little differently, but basically it is in the middle of the night. This is why you might find that your transactions process at midnight one time and then not at 6 a.m. on a different day. Some people think that when they put their money into the ATM machine, as I have previously thought, and miraculously the money is transferred into their account electronically, when in fact this is done manually and in batches. That actually, sometimes that money actually just sits there in that ATM machine until the night when someone or a group of someone's come and to remove the deposits. It sits there. It's in like a little box. Okay? So when you deposit cash at a teller, your money will be credited to your account immediately. When you deposit cash at the ATM, your money will be credited to your account the next business day, not including weekends and holidays. And this is only for some banks. Not all banks do that. But these are the banks who manipulate our money, the ones who do this. Now, electronic direct deposits are usually available the same day, and in some cases the next business day. If you deposit cash at the ATM after a certain hour, in some cases it may be 6 or 7 p.m. or even 10 p.m. Local time, no matter what zone you're in. It could be Eastern or Pacific, but it's whatever 10 p.m. that time. Okay, your deposit should be available the same day or the next business day, or it may take several days to clear. And again, every bank is different. If you deposit a non-bank check, that check is held until it clears, usually 3 days. If it's a local check, more if it's out of state. Okay, sometimes banks will make the first $100 or $200 available to you until the check clears. Mobile deposits, however, take the longest. A mobile deposit is a deposit made when you take a picture of the check with your phone or your camera, right? And then you actually electronically on your phone, you take your phone or your computer and you actually do the transaction. You do it online, but you've actually taken a picture of the check. Now these types of deposits take the longest because they're hardest to decipher. Sometimes people will think that the bank don't know what they're doing, and they'll take a picture of a check that they want money from, which is not a legitimate check, and then they get $100 from it, and then the bank realizes that this is not a check that's a good check, and then that $100 is then reversed. So what happens when that $100 is reversed? You guessed it, overdraft fees. Now when will your money be available? Okay, now you decide. If you choose a 10-day no-fee option, okay, your account, your funds will be loaded to your account credit card sometimes within 10 days. Okay, as long as the check is approved and not returned unpaid. If you need your money sooner and you select to pay the 1% or 4% or more, depending on the financial industry, with a minimum of $5 per transaction, your money will be available if your check is approved after a short review. Okay, it can take by short review. And usually the managers, you know, can do this for you. They can make a review this. Okay, you can go into the bank and you can ask, to have your, to release the funds. Sometimes the branch manager will, sometimes they will not. Now, when checks are not approved, some checks are submitted to certain financial industries too, and are subject, okay, and are subject to review for approval. There are a number of reasons why your check may not have been approved. For instance, if the payee name on the check doesn't match the name on your account, if your check was written on a closed account, or if you've written a bad check in the past from the person who gave you the check, your check may also be declined, or if it would cause you to exceed the daily, weekly, or monthly limits for your card, the maximum balance allowed on your card. And now, opt-in regulation. In July 2010, the Federal Reserve adopted revisions to Regulation E, which prohibited overdraft fees resulting from one-time debit card and ATM transactions, unless the bank's customer has opted into overdraft protection. Research by Moab Service released in February 2011 showed that as many as 90% of customers had chosen overdraft protection, resulting in the protection that the United States banks would post record profits from overdraft fees. Now, overdraft can help in certain cases, like I had talked to you before. If only in an emergency situation would I opt to use an overdraft. And now that I know how overdrafts work, I would take out a lump sum of money. I wouldn't milk or nickel and dime the bank. Okay? Because if you use a penny of the bank's money, you're going to pay that same overdraft fee that you would pay if you took out all of your money that you was entitled to under your overdraft protection. Now, you can find out how much money do I have available on my overdraft protection, because if I opt in, then I should have the ability to find out how much that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, Mr. Banker, Mr. Blood-Sucking Bank, how much do I have available in my overdraft protection? And you're either going to tell me or not going to tell me. Now, if you don't tell me, then I'm going to think that you got something to hide. And I'm going to take my money and I'm going to go to another bank. Okay? Now, regardless of which overdraft setting you choose, I encourage you to consider overdraft protection to help you protect yourself from overdrafts and decline transactions only in emergency situations. Okay? Like I said, only in emergency situations. If you have to to opt in or have more than one account where you have overdraft protection, it may be right for you. But with overdraft protection, you can link your eligible checking and or savings account to it, thereby reducing the fee. Okay, so what happens is you write a check or you make a debit card transaction and you don't have enough money in there to cover it. So then what happens is the money is now pulled from your savings account, right? Which is a less of a fee. It's like $10 maybe. You're still going to pay a fee, but you're only going to pay a third of that fee. Whereas if you use the bank's money, you're going to pay like $38, $39. And in some cases, the banks, what they call usury, which I'm going to talk about, which is an illegal fee, they charge more than what they're supposed to be charging. Okay? That's like when you go to these buy here, pay here car loan places, they will charge you the maximum amount of interest that they can, and that's 24.999%, regardless of what your credit is. Okay? Now, so that means that for every dollar you're borrowing, and for every dollar the car costs, you're paying 25 cents on that dollar. So it's 1 1/4 of whatever that is. So if the car is $10,000, you're supposed to be paying $12.50, $12,500. Okay, and then of course they add on other things. You got 2-year standard protection and whatnot, which none of them ever come to fruition because you end up okay, let's still talk about. Now, regardless of which overdraft setting you choose, you're encouraged. Okay, now with overdraft protection, you can link your eligible checking account to your savings account, your credit card, or a second eligible checking account. If the checking account doesn't have enough money to cover a transaction, available funds will be transferred automatically from the linked account. Okay, now if your checking account doesn't have enough money to cover the withdrawal or purchase, overdraft protection automatically transfers money into your eligible checking account from your linked eligible account. provided there are funds available to the linked account. And this information can be found in my book, Blood Sucking Banks, which talks about how to stay protected of overdraft fees and how to fight back and get those overdraft fees back, get your life back on track. And it's available on Amazon.com. And anybody who gets this book, I'll throw this one in, which is called Identity Theft, which I'm going to be talking about this one next. Okay? How to protect yourself from identity theft. It's called Blood Sucking Banks. This is my book. Available on Amazon.com, Lulu.com, and CreateSpace.com. And if you want me to download or upload a copy to one of your mobile devices, I'll be glad to do that. Okay? Now, if you enroll in overdraft protection with a credit card, overdraft transfers will be a bank cash advance and will accrue interest at the bank cash advance APR stated in your credit card agreement. A fee may apply to each transfer. Okay? And please refer to your credit card agreement for details. Okay, bank overdrafts occur on an overdraft fee is charged to you when a debit transaction, for example, a check or an ATM withdrawal or debit card purchase exceeds the available balance in your account and the bank still approves the transaction. As a checking account customer, you know how important it is to keep track of your balances to avoid the inconvenience and expense of overdrafts and accompanying fees. Well, now we've gotten so far. Next time we're going to talk a little bit about, today we've been talking about how banks manipulate your money. Okay? And we know that they do manipulate the money because they are killing us in overdraft fees. Overdraft fees, $39, $49. You know what you could have done with $40, with $39? Some people, like I said, when I was on the phone handling customer calls, they would come in, people were actually crying on the phone because their money, they would be broke now for the next 2 weeks because, I mean, you know, it's not entirely the bank's fault. But I would say it's, 90%, I would say 75% of the bank's fault. Because they don't really explain to you what it is, that you're getting into. Now, and from a business perspective, for me as a business owner, I'll be capitalizing on a lot of money. I'm going to make a whole lot of money that way. But is it fair to the customer? No, it's not. To just take your money just like that and to not inform you. Oh yeah, we have this wonderful program, overdraft protection and whatnot. And some people think it's an armor suit. Well, it's not an armor suit. You know what I mean? And you have to be very, very careful about, how you use your overdraft. If you're going to avoid using overdraft, avoid it. If you can call up your creditor and whatnot and say, look, I have, a bill, I'd like to make an arrangement. Can I pay you next week? Fine, okay, I'll pay you next week. It's not costing me nothing. It's not costing you nothing. I don't have to worry about no check bouncing or nothing. Instead of you paying it off, knowing you don't have no money in there, and then hoping that it'll clear anyway, then you end up owing the bank money, I'd rather wait it out and say, look, my landlord, can I work out an arrangement with you? I'll pay the rent on the 15th instead of the 1st. You know what I mean? Or I'll call the car company. Can I pay you I'll call the electric company. These are alternatives to paying $40. Because $40, honey, if you keep letting them do that to you, they're going to suck the city dry. Okay, so I want to thank you for joining me today for Real Estate, Religion, and You. And I'm asking you to join me next week right here on Time Warner Public Access TV Channel 20. And we're going to be talking more about blood-sucking banks. And this is going to be available, it's available now on Amazon.com, Lulu.com, CreateSpace.com. Holla, sister.